always hard to tell. Um, I'm sure that the first couple of minutes is always going to be awkward on these videos, just because I can never tell when it actually starts streaming, because I got to move everything
At
back.
Domino's, we make more than
Really?
pizza. That's why we changed from
Had the video muted and everything, but it still played audio. Okay, so let me take a quick drink real quick. All right, I have two things planned for today. Well, we're gonna do one of them, not both. I have been doing some level design, and I feel like it's just taking too long. It's a little slow to watch. It's a lot of just sort of sitting there watching me go bridge, 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 bridge. And as exciting as that is to most people, I don't think that it's a particularly fun way for anyone to spend their time, or at least not watching me do it. I don't mind. I could sit there and do it for hours, as you already know. But to make things a little more exciting, I think we're going to switch to doing some scripting and some quick design real quick. So I guess the other thing, and the other option that we could do would be to do textures, but I'd prefer to wait until the modeling was done, so that way we could apply them and move them around, make it very visible what we're going to do. So I think what we're actually going to do today is just take a look at the verb types for the parser, which are here. And then we're going to try and trim some of these, maybe add a couple of new ones, and implement a troll into the demo, basically. Excuse me. So right now the demo for the game is 2 levels long, and I would actually like to sort of update it as I update the rest of the game to make it sync a little bit better, redesign some of the puzzles, refine things. One of the big things I need to do is get rid of the first door in the demo level, just because people keep trying to unlock it with the key they find in the room next to the starting room, which makes sense. That's what you would expect. It's a locked door. You get a key, you'd think, oh, key goes in the locked door. So I just need to remove that completely because it's not intuitive as it is. But that's something for a different day. The main thing I would actually like to do is, let me pull up Unity and let's go to scenes, above scripts, intro, castle sewers. So in the castle sewers, to actually get around, I don't think that if I play it'll. Let me go to prefabs and drag in my hero. Alright. So if we go into the sewers, the big thing about this is I wanted to teach players that they can hit things to break them. That's what these boards are, so you can just hit them and they'll break. And that's fine, but actually what I would like to do is introduce a enemy, so something that you can actually attack. And the reason I want to do that is because it will allow me to introduce equipping things. There are a lot of people that I know just trying to equip things, most notably the key. And I figure if enough people want to do equipping and try that, it would be good to give them like a small dagger or something that they can equip and kill a troll here. And that also helps show off the left-handed, right-handed mechanic that's built in. When the game starts, it asks you a series of questions, one of which is move away from the water sound effects, or I can just stop playing. One of the questions that it asks you is, are you left or right-handed? And in the demo currently, it doesn't actually factor in, but in the proper game, if you say you're left-handed, you'll actually hold objects on the left side of the screen, which is, I mean, I guess not that really impressive, but I don't know very many games that let you be left or right-handed. It's always one or the other. Most often right-handed, Why aren't people getting mad about left-handed people not getting representation in video games? Anyway, said the right-handed person. So I'd like to show that whole left-handed, right-handed thing, right off the bat. So I would like to get a dagger placed in here, and then allow players to use the dagger on the troll. And if they don't have the dagger and they try to hit the troll, they'll just be punching a troll, in which case that's not very effective. But once they do find the dagger and equip it, and then they attack the troll with it, the troll will keel over and die. Of course, this being the type of game that gives you multiple solutions to puzzles, something else I would like to do is allow you to just simply insult the troll, in which case the troll will start crying and will move away, so you can pass. Just because I wanted to make insults be a solution to a puzzle, and I would like it to be a offhanded solution, one that you would not really think to do. Except for anyone who's watching the stream right now will think about that, except there's no one watching. So that puzzle will remain hidden for probably, I don't know, years, until someone gets really, really bored and tries it. But yeah, I think that's what I would like to do today. So that gives us a bit of time to do a quick texture for the troll, to do some scripting, and to refactor some of our verb types if we get to it. I don't really need to refactor the verb types for this puzzle mechanic. I just kind of want to do it because I have a couple of verb types I'm not really using. I don't think I use touch or select, or those could possibly be the same thing, basically. And there is actually a limit to how many verb types I can do. I can only do, I think, one more verb type. Maybe I can do two more. Maybe three. I can basically do 32, I think, which is the amount of bits that a integer has, a default integer that in Unity's system for enums, because you can't do a long-based enum, I don't think, in Unity, or at least the last time I tried it, which was admittedly quite a long time ago. Unity wouldn't let me do it, which means that I'm basically confined to doing about this many verb types, just because if I did a normal enum as opposed to a bit, or a what's it called, bitmask, then certain word, or every word, could only be one type of verb. So stuff like what's a good example? Of course I can't think of one that's multiple things. I mean, consume can be both eat and drink. Light or pick up, I think, because pick could be unlock, but pick up I guess is two separate things. So, well, apparently I can't remember my own verbs, but there are words that mean that could be interpreted as multiple verb types, and because of that, I need it to be a bit mask. That way, I can loop through and just say, like, not it's only this, but rather it could be multiple different things. So because of that, I'm confined to about 32 different types of verbs. But I guess that's not what we're going to start focusing on today. Today, we are going to, let's open up Photoshop. I'm also going to remember to select it in XSplit. Or no, I don't need to, because it's broadcasting my desktop, not my not individual screens. So let me move this over here so I can keep an eye on chat in case no one wants to show up. Man, I sound like such a huge defeatist whenever I do these streams. I'm just always making fun of the fact that no one's going to be watching these. 512 by 512 is fine. This is going to be a troll. Yeah, I don't know if I really want to up-res any of these textures, because the kind of the thing is that low textures, I mean, smaller textures means less file size, but most of the item textures are what's it called? Like, it's point interpolation or something like that. I don't remember. Or point filtering. So it's all hard edges. There's no sort of softening of the edges that would result from being blown up, because it's all point based. So it's pixels basically. It's basically the same as like old school pixel graphics. When you scale those up, they don't really get soft. They just keep the hard edges. And that's what I wanted for the text. That's why I chose a very pixel font, because I wanted to be more reminiscent of. It's actually based on the Commodore 64 fonts, I think, because I wanted that very old sense of font. And I think that's a good aesthetic for the base font for the game. And in the future, you can't right now, but I would like to let the player unlock the option to customize their font. So if they want to have a different font than the sort of built-in Commodore style font, they could actually just find one they like and import it once they've unlocked the ability to do so. Not test, text. Okay, so let's open you back up. Let's go with you, still Commodore 64, and Troll. So that's very basic. I don't want that. Problem with humanoids in any form is if you try to be too advanced and show the actual like full arms and legs, it gets really, really complicated really, really fast. It's because you'll get really weird shapes, almost like Tim Burton-esque long arms and legs, just to accommodate the full word. You don't want to, have leg, and then LE and no G at the bottom. That would just be very strange. But I do probably want to have higher space. Oh, that's the one. Higher spacing. 48. And then let's move these to be 60. Yeah, that's better. You sometimes have to mess with the kern. Actually, that's not kerning. That's vertical line spacing, I think. I guess leading line spacing. Well, anyway, I'm not a typist or fontist. Typist. Fontist is a magician from Tales of the Abyss. So we can just pop this in, see how it looks. Might actually I want to blow it up to 84 and 96. That's pretty good. So we'll move these all to 60, which means we'll move these two to 72, I think. Should be about the same. No, let's move them to 84. That's just because fonts tend to go in increments of 12 for point size. I wonder why, actually. I should look that up sometime. That might be useful information for this game. I don't really like... The problem with letters like R is that you get that off-sided appearance, which bugs me. I'm I'm a little OCD on symmetry. I really love me some symmetry, and whenever I get stuff favoring one side where it shouldn't be, it tends to bug me. Well, for now, I think this is pretty good. We'll pull in, it should be 256 by 256, except we want to go over that, I think, just a little bit, not that much, because it's not actually perfectly centered. So that's 226 by 229. Okay, so I'm going to go back this way. So 7, 8. I guess actually that's about as far as we can get. 27, that should be 28, I think. If I can get it right, yep, 28. That's about as perfect as we're going to get. So let's go ahead and save that. Let's go to hard drive, game development, Unity, text quest, art, textures, enemies, troll. It's fine, I won't put it in a folder for now. And then we'll save that again, go to PNG as a troll. Okay, so let's go back here. Let's open up and we got navigate to it again. Text quest, art, textures, enemies, and before we can pull it in, let's go up to the art tab. Enemies, create folder, troll. Of course it's drag the troll in here. The giant spider is tagged as an enemy. Good, that's what we will tag. And it's not a texture, it is a sprite. Packing tag is enemy. It is point filter mode. Don't think I need maps. I don't really remember. Max size is 512. Format compressed. All that's fine. Yeah, I don't need maps. Do I have any? Right. I probably should do 128. Alright. So, let's go ahead and make a new object. Call this troll, or actually sewer troll. So we're not gonna. I mean, we might reuse it at some point later, but I doubt it. I try not to reuse too many obvious things. I was originally going to actually have the giant spider that you see in the forest. I was going to try and have that, or another version of it, be in sort of an underground cave area. Back when I had a different level, back before I had the labyrinth, the underground labyrinth level, which I talk about, but I don't think anyone except for people I've shown in person have seen that. So people watching this have no idea what I'm talking about. I should show that to you guys sometime. Actually, I might, if I remember, I'll try to show that to you guys tonight. But before I had the labyrinth, underground labyrinth level, I had what I called the inverted mountain, which is kind of what it sounds like. It was a mountain underground that was upside down, and you would be traveling to its peak, which was actually its bottom. So you would start at this very wide base at the top, and then it would sort of taper until you got to this very thin area that you were walking down. And I was planning on having like cave spiders come out. That was going to be back when I had a little bit more of an action focus. I was planning on I was going to try and implement real-time combat into the game, and it just got, it felt like it was sort of taking away from the point of the game. I felt that it was a little too. It was just too different. It felt like the point. If I had real-time combat, I would have to implement it way more often than I would like, and I feel like that would just take away from the exploration aspect that I wanted to try and push. It also would have meant that I would have had to have like a nice, satisfying combat system, because if I was going to put in a combat system, I wouldn't want to just have a combat system that barely functioned. Felt like it would. I don't like token systems, and if I wasn't willing to put in the effort for it that would be necessary, it just wouldn't work. All right, and the model also has to be rotated 180 because that's just how it works. Let's move you. Oh, and I also need to turn the water in this level into an interactable object, because there are people who are trying to examine it and do all this stuff, which is fine. That's actually great. A lot of people trying to interact with the environment. That's what I want. There does need to be a limit. I don't want to have every little thing in the level be interactable, because then it just gets confusing. But you do want to let people interact with the obvious things. So, like, I mean, in this level, water is obviously a very large presence. So I need to find a good way to handle that. Also, let's transform. -1 should be fine. Actually, maybe keep hitting the wrong thing. Let's try -1.25. As long as it's not in the ground, it's not good. We're going to sort of cheat here and have the collision. Actually, let's move this. I think it's. Oh. Right. The problem with working in Maya and Unity is that Maya has different measurements for these things. I think in Maya the boards were located at Z -40 something. Maybe actually it was like -39 or something, or 20 something. I don't know. It might have been half of whatever the actual Z position is for this. I do not actually know, but it gets confusing trying to sort of switch between the two all the time. So let's set its 3. 3 is a bit much. 2.5. That's good. Slide you around a bit. Yeah, I think that's fine. Let's turn off boards. I'm going to have to rebake this light map. Actually, was I smart? I say that not really thinking I was smart. It just means that was I trying to be smart ahead of time? That's the wall light. What's the actual? Where's the lights? There we go. So we want 29. Okay, so let's make you baked and baked and real time. Wait, really? Oh no, that's real time indirect. That's fine. Hard shadows. That's fine. Yeah, because you want stuff like the troll. If it gets killed, it's going to disappear. So any light being cast needs to fall where it was standing, so we don't have the word troll burned into the ground, which is what you're actually seeing here with these shadows. Like if this was real time, these shadows that were cast by the boards here, more obvious here, that's cast by the boards after they're broken. Those wouldn't be there if I had these set to real time. But real time is also more expensive, and you can only have a limited amount of them. Right now, I think I can only have 4 point lights that are real time in the scene. And do I have any other ones that are real time? No, I don't, because they would be enabled. And I'm going to change this to baked, actually. Ugh, of course, I'm going to have to move these, disable those, then do real time. Try to organize these as much as I can. So I like a very clean hierarchy. So now I can turn these on. That's there. Okay. And actually, I wonder. Yeah, I'll need to look into that. I think you can do emissive lighting on the material itself, which I might actually be doing from these lights. So if I go here to the model and then the actual light is its material emissive. It's 0.5% emissive, so it's emitting some light, but I have it set to global illumination none. Right, and I would have to make an instance of the material to do that for just these lights. Although I guess I could just make a. That's boring. You guys don't care about that. I will make a note about that. Pull up Google Drive. Text quest. And make a Google Sheets. Call it notes. Resize this 25. Text quest notes. Change sewer lights to use emissive, which I can't spell. Emissive. I know what it means, even if I can't spell. Here. It's 2 S's. I knew there was either 2 M's or 2 S's. And the reason I want to look into that is actually because I thought I remember seeing the guys giving a Unity talk saying that emissive materials are basically free lighting. They don't tax your system at all. I don't know if that was in relation to baking or if that was just in general. So I'll have to take a look into that. But because if it's free, then I might as well just have everything be emissive, and then not worry about it because they're the only sources of light in the scene. So we got our sewer troll here. It needs to be set to an interactive layer. Yes, change children. The model is there. Let's add our actor modules. So we need a sprite module and a collision module. These are just sort of part of an actor system I've thrown together. So the enemy is the parent script. It derives from interactable object, or interactive object, which itself derives from actor. And the modules all carry out specific functions. That way I can split up the functionality and only use what I need. And I don't have a script that's 4,000 lines long doing stuff that isn't necessarily being actually done. So the sprite module actually handles information regarding the sprite, and it derives from a model module. It carries useful information like the color of the sprite and any references to animation. Actually, no, I think I have an animation module, don't I? It used to do that stuff before I moved it over to animation module. And collision just handles collisions. You can actually set it to ignore specific IDs or types, and that means actor IDs or types, which I actually might refactor these a bit because it's part of a generic system I put together, and I don't really need these IDs and types in TextQuest. Types could be done with player and all that stuff, but it's probably not really necessary. And ID is definitely not going to be used because that's already being done down here in item IDs or enemy IDs down here. They're separate things. So I need to refactor combat too because it's not very fun as is. Right now, combat actually sort of follows the original Zork combat, which I didn't find very enjoyable. Just because it does sort of like random calculations on if you actually are doing damage or not. So it's like hit troll with sword, and it'll say the troll nimbly dodges your attack. And some people would be like, okay, so I just can't hit the troll with my sword. And other people might say, okay, let's try that again. You say hit troll with sword, and it says like you land your blow on the troll. It is stunned. But it's not dead, so you're like, okay, let's try it one more time, and then it says, the troll is felled, and it disappears in a puff of black smoke. But the problem is like having no indication that you need to keep attacking it's not very intuitive, and I don't like that system. That's why I was originally thinking of doing real-time combat, because real-time combat is much more intuitive. It's easy to see that you are doing damage or you are not doing damage. So I need to come up with a better way of doing this, and I don't want to necessarily. This is an adventure game, which means that I don't want to have the player really be in danger of dying at any point unless it's through their own stupidity or their own misunderstanding of what's going on. So I don't want any player to walk around a corner and then just get insta killed, unless that corner is at the end of a very long hallway that is pure fire. And the player has ample opportunities to see fire coming out of that hallway at periodic points. Because then I will have been showing them, like, fire is there. Do not walk into fire because fire is bad and it will kill you. So at that point, the only reason the player would die is not because they got blindsided by some attack, but because they decided to walk into a pit of fire that they knew was going to come. So I need to come up with a better combat system, something that's more fun to do. I'll have to think on that a little bit, though. That's not going to happen tonight. I'm also going to smooth this out so it's like 69. Nope. Don't want a 69 here. 68. No, definitely not 68. 0.75. That's better. Right between the two. Well, almost between the two. Okay, got a little bit of a gap at the top, but too high for the player to jump and get stuck on there, so not going to worry about it. So that's in there, and I keep forgetting to keep the Twitch, yeah, comments up in case someone accidentally wanders in and asks where the bathroom is. So, okay, with that, we should be able to go to Google, pull this over here, and move it that way. Keep an eye on the chat. Go to design, interactions, castle, sewer. Let's do a new folder. Let's say enemies. Let's also do a new folder for objects. Move these into that. Okay, let's go back to interactions. Do I have an enemy template? I do. Let's make a copy. And these are just basic templates for specific copies for specific types of objects. So whenever I want to make a door, I have a door template, and that's because even though everything derives from interactive object, there are a couple of things that each one does specifically. Like with doors, I need to know, are they locked, or do they have a key that unlocks them, or can they just be unlocked by typing the word unlock, among other stuff. Enemies have similar features. They have like animation keys, I think, that they have to do, as well as other stats that need to be calculated out. Items have stuff like item IDs and combinations, and I think a couple of stuff with your inventory. So let's go to enemy template, move this into castle. Actually, while we're here, let's make a copy of the item template, because we're going to need one for a small dagger. Move that into castle as well. Move enemy template into sewer. I don't know if I'm going to put the dagger into quarters or the sewer, but for now, into enemies. I love nested folders, in case you couldn't tell, because it keeps everything clean. I'm a huge stickler for nice, organized data structures. So whenever I see one of the hardest things, I think, for me to look at is other people's hierarchy in Unity, because most people, at least most people that I've met, they just throw everything into the root of the hierarchy. So you have like a hierarchy with 200 things in it, none of which are really important to each other, and it makes it terrible to look for things. And I know that you have a search function, but a search function should really only be needed if you have no idea where to look. And if you have no idea where to look all of the time, that's not great. Sewer troll. So let's go. It is a troll. Probably should come up with a couple of other names. I don't know, troll, beast, monster. Then object plural names will be trolls, beasts, monsters. And these actually, so the names is the singular version of what you would say to hit it. So like hit troll, or hit beast, or hit monster. All three of those would work for this. The plural names is, you can actually say like hit all trolls, and it will look for all of the trolls that you are currently interacting with. Or hit all beasts, and it will look for all things that have the name beasts in their plural name. So it's a way for me to handle plurals. Mostly it's used for your inventory, so if you want to say like drop all keys, it will drop all of the keys. And I didn't want to have a names thing that was both troll, trolls, beast, beasts, monster, monster. It made more sense to have one for singular names and one for plural names. And I couldn't do something as simple as just, check for all of the names and all of the names plus S, because some plurals have ES, some plurals don't have ES or S, or some plurals have odd pluralizations, like, octopus, octopi. And I didn't want to have, like, I don't see any octopuses in your inventory, so, which I think actually, I don't remember if that's how the original Zork did it or not. I think there's at least a couple of text-based games that if you try to do a plural form of the word, or you try to look for the word in general and there are none around, it'll try to do the plural form, but often they just appended S onto it, so you get stuff like I don't see any octopuses on in the area or whatever. And I didn't want to do that, so it's a little more work on my end, but it gives me a little more control, so I'm willing to work with that. Description: a terrible troll. Descriptions should probably descriptions are what are shown whenever you first start interacting with an object. So if you like interact with a key, it'll say an iron key or something like that. It's just meant to be something very basic to convey any adjectives and what the name of the actual thing is. So that way players always know what they can do to specify and target a specific thing that they're interacting with. Like for example, if you're interacting with a iron key and you have a rusty key in your inventory, saying take key well actually no, that's a bad example because it'll defer to whatever you're interacting with before it tries to search your inventory. So you could actually just say take key and it will take the key that you're interacting with. But since you would have two keys at that point, if you tried to say unlock door with key, it would actually ask you which key, silver or rusty or iron key. So it's just a way to help the parser sort of think through how you're or what you actually want to do. Text color. What do I have? I think I have a. I don't remember where I would have kept it. It's in the root. I don't know where I kept it. Maybe game data. Dang. Try colors. There we go. Text colors. So these are the colors of the words if I were to use them. I would like a brownish, maybe like a pale color, like a pale blue. Gray azure kind of looks pretty nice. So that's what we want. We want 22. Oh, actually, I don't need to do that. Gray azure. Did I use my spelling? Nope, I used the right one. And the text color here, if you interact with it, when it says its name, it uses the first name from names, so it'll use troll here, plus the text color. If I left it default, it would default to the player's set color, which starts at white, but eventually players will be able to unlock specific colors that they can change their overall tone to. So they can like change it to green, and the default color will change to green. But by changing it to gray azure, whenever the name troll shows up, it will actually be in the gray azure color. So adjectives, we need to have terrible, an ID, sewer troll. Effective items will be small dagger. And I'll leave the stun chance and death chance. Stun chance is whenever you attack, you have by default 25% chance that it'll cause a stun. And if you attack again while it's stunned, you will kill it. Death chance is you have a 10% chance of just killing an enemy right out. I think I had to balance these a lot before it really got okay. I might actually look at for spider. I have a prefab. Yeah, it's 25% chance for stun, 10% for death. Because I didn't want it to be, just every time you attacked it would kill it, and I didn't want it to be, you'd be attacking 10 times before it even got stunned. So I think these numbers tended to work fairly well. So you have a 1 in 4 chance of it just stunning it, in which case the 5th attack would be the thing that kills it. But like I said, it's not intuitive enough to sort of guide you through just repeatedly attacking the enemy. Something I did see that I really liked is I think there was a text game, I don't remember which one, that you could attack stuff and it would do that same system, attacking, and you would have an X% chance of actually stunning or killing it. But the enemy also attacked back. And in this case, it was the player attacking like a snake or something, I think, and the snake was attacking the player, and they both kept attacking each other, but they both kept missing. And eventually, after like 10 turns, I think, it said the snake died of old age. I could work something like that in, where if you just can't get the stun or can't get a hit, it just dies of old age. But I feel like that's funny once, But if it happens every single time, then that's obviously a flaw in the combat design if you have to just wait for the thing to die. So I'm not too happy about that. So that's the info, the basic info. Next, we got to go to the verbs. So there are 29 unique verb types right now. None of these are going to be added to inventory. Yeah, these are just the possible effects from doing things. So you can add something to your inventory, remove something from your inventory. You could equip, unequip something, or combine items. As of right now, combine works, but I don't do anything with it yet, just because that's a more abstract puzzle, and I want to not implement that early on. I would like that to be something not very late, but like mid to late game. So for the first quarter, first half of the game, it's probably going to be mostly just simpler puzzles, memory, finding specific things to do specific things. I want to expand beyond that, but the first half of the game, which is only the first half in the sense that it's the first, it's above ground. I call the second half of the game, or I consider that the point after you go underground, but chances are the underground section of the game is going to take way longer than the first half, just because it's going to have more complex puzzles with larger areas with more things to do. As I've said before, the 3 large planned areas are a magma river, which is going to have this sort of Greek pantheon arena at its center, and there's going to be sort of this abandoned town that you can explore. And the underground labyrinth is a giant maze that I think, I don't know if I want to scale it back. It's very large right now. I think it takes like 15 minutes for me to sprint through it, and I know the layout of it. I know where to go. But it's also not so large or chaotic that you're not being rewarded for exploration. There are quite a few dead ends in there that are not really dead ends and have fake walls. Which actually, I'll just show that to you later. I don't need to describe that right now. And of course, the third level is going to be Terra Lacus, which is just a giant underground lake. And originally I was going to have another town for you to explore, but I felt like that would be a little too one note. So I think what I'm going to do now is going to have this nice sort of singular mansion complex that you can explore. It's going to have this sort of like Chinese, Japanese architecture. I might actually look into Itsukushima style stuff, which is an island shrine in Japan, which is very, very pretty, I might add. It's very nice there. Deer everywhere. But it has this very nice sort of aesthetic to it where it's a raised platform over the shallow water. And the underground lake would obviously be very deep, because I want to have aqua grooves. So if you just walk into the water, you'll die. But I should be doing stuff on talking about this. But I want to do I want to have something similar to or to juxtapose the magma river, which is meant to be more about large exploration into smaller areas, sort of like Fallout. And I wanted to juxtapose that with exploration sort of reminiscent of the original Resident Evil. And I got that idea after playing the Resident Evil remake, or re-remake, I guess. So it's a lot more, going back and forth across the same area, trying to solve very specific puzzles with very sort of complicated ways of using items. But for now, none of that's fully designed or fleshed out. I'm going to need to sort of take a crack at that. Anyway, back to what I was doing here. So we're going to be coming up with stuff, puns and all this. So I already talked about the verb effects. The output is just what happens when you type in that verb type. So if you type take, as it is right now, it would only do text, which means it's only going to spit a description back out at you, and it's the default description, which would just spit out take or taken. But since this is a troll, we don't want to do that. Normally, I specified these to just go to default fail, and that means that if you tried to type take on this troll, it would just say you can't do that. I do that as a safety measure. That way, in case I don't specify something just because of oversight, it won't say that you've done it even though you didn't. And at end game results that I'm trying to do, I'm not doing it right now. I'm planning on doing, once I have all of the puzzles in, I'm planning on doing a massive pass on all of the items and objects in the game, and specifying a unique output for everything and a unique output for basically using every verb with every item on every object. So you could say like slap fish or slap troll with fish, and you would get a unique output. Um, or like eat troll with fish. That would probably, I don't know, that's nonsensical, but it might give you a. I can't think of one, but it might give you a unique output if I ever do think of one. Um, and that's the goal. Is I just want to make it as I guess it's not immersive, but as sort of humorous and lighthearted and as unique for each interaction. I want each interaction to feel like it's something that you haven't done before. I don't just like having a game or a text-based game that just says like, pick up lantern. You can't do that. Light lantern. You can't do that. Eat lantern. You can't do that because you can't do that. It's not descriptive and it's boring. So I want to try and make it as dynamic and fun as possible. But I can't I don't want to do that ahead of time because I don't want to just constantly have to keep going back to older ones, not knowing which ones I've actually done so far, and updating them. So it'll be easier just to not worry about that. Required items. Moving on. Required items is the object that would be necessary to use that verb. So, for example, where's hit? Hit. We would want the required item to be actually, right. On anything other than an enemy, you would actually have to specify the item to do it. So, like with a door, if you wanted to unlock it with a key, if you just typed unlock and you had a required item of like iron key, then it would say, what would you like to unlock the door with? That way, it's showing the player, you need to specify what the door can be unlocked with. But for enemies, we don't actually want to have that question because we want people to be able to say, like, if they just say hit troll, then it should assume that you meant hit troll with your fists. In which case it'll give you, an output specifically for that. Or actually, it wouldn't assume that. It would just give you an output. Thinking on that, would that be best? Well, I guess it doesn't really matter much. I hadn't really thought of that, the fact that it doesn't actually default to your fists for your hitting stuff. It just gives you an output. But, well, I don't really know. For now, we don't want to actually specify that, because if you specify it, actually, I might need to refactor how I don't remember how I do this. I might need to refactor enemy, because I think enemy is one of the classes that I haven't actually gone back and... Yeah. Oof. Oh, gross. Enemy isn't one of the things that I've actually had the time to refactor. I thought I did this already. Oh, that means it's really nasty. I wrote this a long time ago. I think back before I had a very clean grasp on how to properly. Oh no! I guess actually we don't want it to be a type of enemy, don't we? We want it to be. Hold on. I think I have more than one type of enemy. I think the spider is a. Yes, the spider is a vanishing enemy. That's what the troll would be, a vanishing enemy. Vanishing enemy is just like a normal enemy, but when you kill it, it has a particle effect that will sort of like imply it dissolved into a black mist, which is another shout out to Zork. And that's what vanishing enemy does. Is whenever you kill it, it automatically triggers a particle effect that will stop after the troll just vanishes. Targets after death. Man, that is such a terrible... Yeah. Ugh. Such a terrible, terrible thing. I really need to refactor this code. But for now, I can at least populate the text with it, even if I don't have it doing stuff that I want. Get rid of this. And oh, yeah, that's why I would need to get rid of this. No, it's not. Oh, right. The items output stuff here is... It's actually a split, which is a messy way of doing this, but because the parser for this, it's a CSV parser that takes each cell individually. And to make this not be sort of obtuse, I have a subsplit within this that just uses this colon. Basically, you specify an item and an output. So, like if I said take troll and the verb effect was not text only, it was actually add to inventory, it would add whatever ID that I specified and say whatever I specified. So if I wanted it to add an iron key, it would say, and I told the output to be added iron key. Whenever you say take troll, it would say added iron key, and then it would put the iron key in your inventory. But we don't need to do any of that for this. That's very rarely used. I put it in there, and I've only used it once, I think, maybe twice. The only example I can actually think of is a pair of keys that you get inside a cabin, because it's just one object. It's not two separate keys. It's actually just one object that's both keys. So when you pick it up, you can say just take keys, and it gives you those two keys, even though it's the original object is just one thing. So that's a very specific case. So let's go ahead and do this. All we'll probably have time to do is just do this stuff today, because I don't like keeping you guys for more than an hour. I say keeping you, but no one's here. I don't like recording for more than an hour, because after that I start to really babble and make no sense, and one of these days I'm going to say something probably like inflammatory. I don't know what it would be. It'd probably be something very innocuous, but it would probably be misinterpreted, because I have that kind of bad luck when talking. Or I'll try to make a joke that I think is funny, and since I have a very dark sense of humor, it'll just come off as offensive. So let's say take, what would we want to say for take troll? Oh man, I could just be lazy and just leave it at default fail. Come back when I'm funnier. So most of these things, they're fairly innocuous things, like drop troll would just say like, well, I didn't know the troll was in your inventory, or I didn't know you had a troll to drop. Equip troll, how exactly does one equip a object name? Question mark. And this object name here, it sets it so the parser knows to change object name at runtime to be troll. So it'll change it to be troll and the color that we specified. Unequip, same thing. Actually, I might not even have to say that for the default fail of an object name. Let's see, parser utility, I think. Does this? No. Maybe global variables. I have a couple of things scattered right now, and I need to re-solidify them a bit. Yeah, I think these are in global variables. So yeah, I have a couple of constants defined. So like the default fail for consume, which is both drink or eat, is I don't think the object name would agree with you, which means that actually in these, I don't need to say I don't think the object name or that object name would agree with you. I can actually just say default fail, and it will automatically know to print out I don't think the object name would agree with you, in which case I'm actually going to change that to that. Object name would agree with you. And that's for the failure stuff. So default output failure, which is the general catch-all failures, you can't do that. Default inventory failure is, which means that if you try to do something with an object that was not in your inventory, like if you had a key on the ground and you said drop key, it would say that, well, in that case, it would actually default to the item that you're interacting with. But if you're, so if you're just standing around and you want to drop a key, but you don't have any keys and you type drop key, it'll say you're not carrying a key. Actually, no, I don't think I use this anywhere now that I think about it. Oh, no, I do. Do I? I guess I do. I don't remember ever seeing that. I think it's because before it even gets to that, it'll actually just say that you don't have any keys or there's no keys around here, so it says you're not, or I don't see a key around here. I got sidetracked, didn't I? Right, I was thinking about changing equip to the default fail to be how exactly does one equip object name. Uh, that would be more interesting than you can't do that. Um, so there's no real reason not to do that. Go back here. Let's go ahead and say public const string default equip failure equals that. Then down here, default failure, eat, drink. Did I put that above it? I probably did. Yeah, I'll have to do that later. I'm pretty sure that case equip. Actually, no, equip would be above that. I tried to organize the verb types in how they're interacted with. So the ways you can interact with your inventory specifically are up at the top of the list, while ways that you can interact with everything else are at the bottom. Verb type dot equip. It's going to be return default. If I can spell default. Equip failure. Back here, I need to format cases so they indent already. So now that means that every time I type, if I just type default here or default fail here, it will automatically say how exactly does one equip a object name. Ooh, which I don't. That might be why I didn't do that anyway. So it's a good catch-all to have that, but the trade-off is I. Oh man, it works until you have a word that requires "an" be in front of it instead of "a." So like, how exactly does one equip a key is fine, but how exactly does one equip a orange is not fine. It should be how exactly does one equip an orange, and that's just because it's grammatically correct. And I try to be grammatically correct when I can. The parser itself is fairly grammatically agnostic, um, but you do have to follow certain rules. Like you can't say pick up or pick up ball red because red is an adjective, which means it has to come before a noun. So if it comes after the ball that it's supposed to be describing, they'll say you used red in a way I don't understand. Um, so I might have to look into a way to handle that a bit. Um, Man, it's already an hour and I have not done a single useful thing because I've been talking about it for too long. Although, admittedly, I had a much more enjoyable time talking about it because it was an interesting topic to me. It wasn't just me sort of going back and forth saying bridge, 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 bridge. So, before we wrap up today, um, let's try to finish the troll. Um, so, I'm just going to sort of speed through this just to get it in there and show you guys uh, what all happens. So, no inserting into the troll. No extracting, no need to say eat or drink. Open, no. Unlock, no. Examine. The troll looks fearsome. Uh, what else? I need to hint that you can kill it with a knife. Maybe not actually. Oof. No, it's fine. And enter, no. Exit, climb, hit. Your blow bounces easily off of the mighty troll. Actually, let's see. Looks paradoxically fearsome and insecure. So, tell the troll, object name actually, Cakes and Cocaine! You're the first person who's ever watched these things. Absolutely, you can see the game. So let's go back here, and I will turn this stuff off. So we will go to the very start of the main menu. I guess we'll be playing in the editor. I probably should have booted up the full thing, but this way I can keep an eye on the chat. Oh man, Cakes and Cocaine. I can't tell you how excited I am about that. So this is Text Quest. It's a first-person text-based adventure. That's how I like to describe it. And I really hope that the audio is fine. I don't know if you can hear me or not. I've been known to talk into the mic without people actually, without actually having the mic be on. Anyway, like I was saying, this is Text Quest. It's a first-person text-based adventure. The idea is that it is a world where everything is made up of text. So type start. We'll go through here and we'll start a new game. Hopefully I didn't break anything. Okay, good to hear that the audio is fine. So it'll ask for your name. Say my name is Chris. So go through here, say yes. We'll do normal mode. It'll ask if I'm right or left-handed. Do right because I am. Favorite color is green. And of course I'm a hero. So let's start. Okay. So like I said, everything in the world is made up of text. So wall is the word wall. Tiles are the word tile. Carpet is carpet with trim. It's just it's a style I like because it lets me do a lot of visual puns, and it also solves the problem in text-based adventures where you don't necessarily know what to call an object that you're interacting with. So if I go up to a door, I can say open the door. Oops. If I can spell, open the door. Open the door. We can go through all this stuff. I can go over here and I can just take a look at some books. I think I fixed the book. Read book. All the books are fake. We can walk around, do some sprinting. Might need to turn down the mouse sensitivity. It feels a little high, actually. So I guess I'm spoiling the some parts of the demo for you, but here, pull the lever, and then, aha! It's fairly basic movement. It's what you would expect from a regular first-person game. But the big thing is I wanted to make a sort of modern-day text-based adventure. And of course I can interact with various objects. Go through all this stuff. Oh, and I forgot I turned off the boards over here. Oh, and I also didn't grab the key, but there's a little bit more to it, but I didn't grab some of the stuff from the first room that I should have. But that's basically what it is. It's interacting with various objects, trying to solve puzzles with the items that you can pick up, as well as solve basic movement and logic puzzles. But this is just the first two levels that I have. The later levels are a little different puzzle-wise. But yeah. And you can actually download the demo. Let me pull up the URL for the website. Like, you can actually download the demo there if you want to give it a try. It's the first two levels, those two that I showed you, but I didn't show you all the puzzles. And you can always try Sierra mode, which is hard mode, where things can break and make the game unwinnable. But yeah, it's a modern-day first-person text-based adventure. Something that I think will hopefully be interesting for people to watch and to play with. But yeah. Again, thanks for stopping by, Cakes and Cocaine. Like you are the first person that has ever watched one of these things. Then again, I guess it's only been 2 weeks, and I'm already up to one person, so that's great for me. Yeah, I'll get back to this, I think. So where was I? Right, just solving all these things. Right, I need a pun for troll. Um, so all of the insults for troll, or all the insults for every object is a pun. So like with the giant spider, you say you tell the spider that it does bad leg work, which is pun on spiders having 8 legs. Um, and sometimes it gets hard because I don't want to be lazy and just do a blatant pun. Um, so like for this, I could think of something like you tell the troll you're just trolling it. Um, but I feel like that's a little too easy. That might be what I settle for tonight, just to sort of get it in there. I might come back later once I come up with a more clever bit of wordplay. Um, Not Siad, Sid. All right. And oh yeah, and before I forget, I guess cakes and cocaine. I should tell you. Try and get as many people as possible to remember it. I try to do these Tuesdays and Thursdays at 8 p.m. Eastern Central Time. So if you ever get bored again, or you just do stumble upon, I have no idea how you came across this, or if you just got bored and found it. I try to do these at 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time, Tuesdays and Thursdays every week. Um, so hopefully that's a good time. I don't actually know what the best time to do these things is or are. I'm not going to do anything with the items checks or the word checks. Items checks just does basic information on like if I the examples I was giving earlier where you say like slap door with fish, you would put the fish ID here and then move over to hit and say what you want the output to be. Ah, yeah. Game development streams are actually pretty fun. I've been trying to watch some of them just to sort of figure out how to format this to make it more interesting. But it's hard because each game has its own unique thing. I don't know if you've seen Willie Cheer's Relativity stream before. He's on at like 9:30 Eastern time, so in like half an hour, he does a game called Relativity. And his streams are just amazing to watch because his game is just visual eye candy, and I feel so terrible comparing my stream to his because his is just way more interesting. Um, Visually, anyway. I think mine has its own merits, of course. Um, yeah, we're not going to do anything with word checks. Word checks is just if you type specific types of words. So the example I like to use is sort of the get e flask example from Homestar Runner, where you could say take flask and it would just say taken, or if you typed the word get, you said get flask, it would say got e flask or something like that. So there's nothing in there that really use these two. The system's in place, but nothing really does anything with them yet. So we're going to download common separated values because these are all CSVs. And I actually have a script that will export these as a single XML document, but because of the way Google sets up the Drive app stuff, I would have to re-import it to every single spreadsheet that I have instead of having a nice, convenient way to access it across all of my shared spreadsheets. And I have no idea why. It's just some random bug that comes up. Let's go back to the Kessel Sewers. So I need to look into a better way to do that because I would like to just have a single file that I pull into these things rather than having multiple, like 4 separate things that I have to pull in. A single XML file would be greatly preferential or preferable to it. So let's go to data, interactions, interaction data, intro, sewer, and troll. And let's show an explorer. Move that over here. Click, open that up. Back to these enemies. Go to downloads. Pull the sewer troll stuff into the troll. Get rid of them. Except it's going to give me a couple of problems just because I don't have the item IDs set up yet, although I could do that real quick. Item ID. Weapons. Let's go down here. I'm going to rename it later anyway, so small dagger. Say 90. Nope, can't say 90. Say 85. And that should be fine. So we'll drag this stuff into their appropriate fields. Oh, 2 a.m. Yeah, that is. Yeah, it is pretty late for you, isn't it? Well, thanks for stopping by. It was great to have my first viewer. That's a very exciting thing for me. I guess I should like pimp it and say favorite it or follow it or whatever the thing is on Twitch. I'm still new to that. I don't know what it's actually called. Just that way I know that there are more people interested, and I think the more people I get, the more people can see it. And I don't know, like see the actual thing or not. Um, but yeah, I suppose I should just say do that. Um, but yeah. Oh my God! I got another one. Hello, Zeke TV. I got two. Two in one night. This is a good night. Although I guess I'm losing cakes and cocaine, so it's a trade-off. But yeah, I had cakes and cocaine. Hello, Zeke TV. Where was I? Oh, right. I was still pulling these things in. You have stopped by just in time to see me set up a quick and dirty enemy. So let's update that and see if it screams at me. Alright, Sewer Troll isn't set up. Oh, okay, cakes and cocaine. Just switching to a smaller screen. So did it get all the names? Correct, it did. All this stuff's set up. Effective items, small dagger. Right, and the enemy ID needs to be updated. So let's go to enemy ID. Let's change this to Sewer Troll. It's 20. Convert. Let's go back here. Oh yes, I guess Zeke TV, I should tell you what this is. Because I think I have panels on Twitch to explain it, but I don't know if you can see those or not. This is Text Quest. It is a first-person text-based adventure. It is a world where everything is made up of the words that represent it. So, like you can see here, wall is the word wall, and this is a sewer, so it's a sewer wall. We got a pipe that goes through the entire level, so it's just the word pipe flowing through it. Oh, nice, GTX Titan. Jeez, how'd you get it for so cheap? Well, I guess I didn't just get a 980. I got a 980, I think last December at some point. And I had to spend like $600. Yeah, Titan, that's ridiculous. I think I can hit update again. Yep, there we go. Goes to Sewer Troll. No warnings that time. Nope. Okay, we're good. Don't need to do anything real quick. Let's plop in here and go see if I can interact with it properly. Need to. I need to change that to be unlit too. It's a terrible troll, so that part's working. So hit. Your attack is ineffective. Oh right, because it's enemies automatically calculate that. Alibaba. Actually, yes, I have heard of that. I think I've gone there like once or twice. I've just been terrible at keeping up with. Yeah, I'm always terrible at perusing for really good deals. Like I don't have the patience. So even though stuff like Alibaba exists, I just never go there. I don't know why. I really should do it more often because I would get stuff for cheap. So let's say examine. It looks paradoxically fearsome and insecure. So if I say insult, build the troll. It's got that nice little effect. Oh, and I gotta change its color to match that. Okay. So let's stop that. Let's go over to model. Go to troll, and we want it to be. Oh wait, actually, you know what I can do is just copy the text colors and paste that directly into Unity. There we go. So now it's that nice sort of sickly blue color. Yeah, that's the other thing, actually, I guess, is that you have to when you buy stuff for that cheap, it's like a 50-50 chance of it's just the most amazing deal ever, or it was just not true, and you just paid $300 for nothing. That's probably part of the reason why I never do those things is because I'm just too distrusting. Um, I think I might actually have a Sprite unlit material. Yes, I do. But do I want to do that? Not particularly. Might. Oh, breathe into the microphone just to annoy people. I change it back to Sprite default. It's probably better that it's sort of self-illuminating, even if that illumination is a little. Um, so that stuff's in there. Just turn around and resell them for profit. Which I don't think that's against eBay's terms of service. I don't think so. Um, so yeah, we got a troll. I might need to make him bigger, actually, make him more hulking, so it doesn't look like you should just be able to walk past him. Um, hmm, still, all that stuff's working, but I'm going to need to take time to actually rig up the level, and I think I'm going to have to definitely redesign the troll to look more intimidating, because right now it's just that. Um, not very intimidating. Um, oh yeah, and Zeke TV. If you want, the demo for this game is actually up on the URL that I specified before, but I don't know. I don't think you can see those if you come in late. Um, which I've never liked that about um, the Twitch stream thing, unless I just don't know how to actually use it properly. Um, so Zeke, if you get bored and you want to try the demo at any point, you can just download it from there. Um, yes, it is in my Twitch description as well. But got to make it more convenient for people because I know if I was watching the Twitch stream, I would want someone to just give it to me. um, oh, actually, I don't need to do that. So I could go ahead and make a dagger texture, but I don't know. Yeah, I'm gonna go ahead and make a quick dagger texture, and I think that'll be it for the night after I make the dagger texture. Um, just because there's a couple of back end things that I need to take care of before I can really do anything visually. That'll be interesting. Um, small dagger. Text background should be black. Actually, it probably should be gray because gray is a neutral color, and that way I don't get color bleeding. But don't need to worry about that. So let's just go with. Let's make it. Man, I gotta get like a breath guard or something. Okay, 48. Say grip. Oh wait, no, grip. And shrink it to be -50, -100, and the eye is very annoying and has to be probably set to be a custom one of like -25. No. The R needs to be -50. That. 150. That's pretty good. Let's do that for eye too. Yeah, a lot of the texture stuff is actually sort of messing with this kerning to get a nice effect. Um, so let's change this. Let's rotate it to be 90. Enter. And then we're gonna have dagger. Oh wait. Except dagger is a really long word. It works for now. I might have to look for a different word that is the same thing, but it's shorter. Go negative 90. So we have this. So that's our dagger in pure color, or in pure white. Let's transform this, move it to 256 by 256. Okay. Then let's change dagger into a gray, slightly gray. Maybe more slightly gray than that. There we go. And change the grip to be red. Maybe a brown. That's a little bit better. Nice little nothing dagger. And this is actually something, using all caps is how I differentiate the items from objects. So there are some objects like the troll, it does not have a colored background, it's just the word. And items do that as well. However, items that you can actually pick up have all caps. That way it's more apparent what you can actually take with you and what is just something that that you can interact with. Oops, let's get rid of the background. Small dagger. Let's put it in textures, items, weapons. Small dagger. I called it dagger again. I got a problem. We'll just save the small dagger PSD and then small dagger PNG. Okay. Let's go back to Unity. Go back here. Gotta navigate to it again. Game development, Unity, text request, art, textures, items, weapons. There we go. Sometimes nesting gets a little too crazy. So text request, art, textures, items, equipable, weapons. Man. Actually, why is... Oh, well, I'll just do this for now. Small dagger. Move this up to equipable. I'll get rid of these. Don't really need them. Small dagger is going to be sprite. It's going to be item, I think, is what I want. 128. Probably have to shrink that. No generating maps to make it point. Make it 12 and hit apply. Okay. So we'll just do something real quick. We'll plug it in there, make it an object, and then we'll probably call it quits for the night. We'll just call it dagger, actually. Dagger. Making an item. 2D object, sprite. Make it a model. And add modules. A sprite module. So add object rotation model and new object module, actually physics box collider. Then we can add the module. Collision module. Go back here. Yeah, that's definitely too big. This needs to go down some. It should probably actually be like 512. Make it really tiny. Collision. And let's set its Z to be 0.1. Its Y should probably be like 0.8. And its X should be 0.2. It's looking pretty good. Let's rotate its model so that it's facing the right way. And let's change its layer to be interactive. Yes, change children. let's put that in there and let's move it down so that it's there. Oh, and let's change collision to be a trigger. That way you can walk past and through it. You don't get stuck if you drop it somewhere specifically. So it should rotate to look at the player at all times since it's a small object. I like that. If I was smart, I would have probably... Well, I guess I could do that real quick. Let's actually change that to be... an equivalent item. I don't know if I was smart enough to do that or not. Let's see if I was. We'll say that it's just a thief's knife. Oh, that's a good thing. Why did I just call it that? Knife. Whew. Call it knife. And real quick, let me make sure that I have that in my dictionary. Do I have dagger? If I just have dagger, I'll use that. Nope, don't have dagger. Of course I don't. What about knife? I think I can use blade if I don't have any of that. I don't have knife either. I gotta add those things. I do have blade though, right? Surely I have blade. This is another problem with doing a text-based game, is that you forget which words you added and which ones you haven't. Yep, I got blade. I'll just make it blade. It's just a quick test thing to see if I can get it in there and equipped. That way you guys can see what it looks like when you equip an item at least. Except... This might throw a null reference exception. So we're going to go on an adventure. See if it'll break. Ah, right. I gotta do that. Hold on. Yeah, it's gonna... Okay. That's fine, though. Interactions, item database. Let's go to wax key. Here we go. Let's pull the dagger in here. Add it to the item database. 19. Add dagger. And change verbs. Add. Actually, we're going to need 2 of them. So it probably would have been faster for me to just do this in the CSV, but I just want to sort of throw this in there real quick. So we're going to do take. Success expected is going to be add to inventory. Output type is going to just be default. I don't need to worry about that. Oh, crap, nope. Do I need to? I don't think I do. Well, we'll just see what happens. So second one is going to be equip. Success effect is going to be equip, just default. I think that'll work. I hope it will. Take. Aha! So I'm right-handed by default. If I was left-handed, it would show up on the left side. But, oh, and it is backwards. Okay, weird, but, But you guys get the idea. You have a, oh, it didn't, interesting. Oh, there we go, that's why. You can actually equip items, they'll show up, and sometimes, some items you actually do need to expressly equip before you could use them. So, if I wanted the, oh, it's not actually going to work, is it? Because they're not the same thing. Although I might be able to cheat real quick. And just change the dagger to be of type small dagger. See what happens here. Hit with blade. The troll is stunned! And then I can do the same thing. The troll was slain, except I don't have it rigged up to actually do anything. But yeah, so that's sort of the basic rundown of getting items in there, going through all that stuff. Oh, I got a null reference, because of course I do. So now the game would be broken and I couldn't actually do anything. I have to look at that. But, yeah, that's sort of a quick look at getting objects into TextQuest. I might make that the focus of my my dev streams, just because doing level modeling isn't that interesting. It's very slow and cumbersome. And this is something that is unique to Text Quest, so it'll be more interesting. And obviously, I can talk about it for a lot longer than anything else, and I find it more interesting to talk about. But I think that'll do it for tonight. It's been about an hour and a half of streaming for me, and thanks for stopping by, Cakes and Cocaine and Zeke TV. Both of you are the first people to watch my dev stream, which makes me really, really excited. And both of you came in the same night. It was just a good night tonight. But yeah, I like to stream Tuesdays and Thursdays, 8 p.m. Eastern Standard Time. So if you ever get bored again on those nights and you want to stop by and watch, I would appreciate it. And of course, like I was telling Cakes and Cocaine as he was going to bed, or switching to his phone, or both at the same time, I guess follow the stream. That way I can sort of see that more people are interested in it, and I think the more people that follow it, the more people can see it in some search results. I don't know how the Twitch system works, but thanks for stopping by, guys. I think that'll be it for today's stream, but hope to see you next time.